Hi, welcome to this week's G.I. Joe Toy Review, where we are in week number 2 of G.I. Joe with their animal companions, or Cobra with their animal companions. This week we'll be looking at the G.I. Joe Commando, Snake Eyes, and his pet wolf Timber. But before we get to our feature presentation, as they say on all beginning of the movies from eons ago, let's look at our um, weekly shout outs back to the media at 41 South Loudon Street in Winchester, Virginia, at www.backtothemedia.com. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. There's the video games, with their systems Xbox, PlayStation 3. They also got PlayStations 1 and 2, uh, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, Atari, and so forth. So go and check them out. They do video games, music, movies, toys, and more. And while you're in the area, scooping on the old school style of video games and comic books and so forth, you can stop at Time Traveler on 115 South Loudon Street in Winchester, Virginia. If you go in and talk to Charles, tell him I sent you. You can find him on Facebook, and whatnot. It's a good place for us old timers to show the youngins what we were into back when we were their age. And so let's take a look at Snake Eyes' file card, where it says Commando, codename Snake Eyes. Full, file name classified. Primary military specialty infantry. Secondary military specialty hand-to-hand combat instructor. Birthplace classified. Grade is E5. Subject served in long-range recon patrols in Southeast Asia. Left the service to study the mystic martial arts with the same ninja family that produced Storm Shadow. Snake Eyes was living an ascetic existence alone in the high Sierras with his pet wolf named Timber when he was recruited for the G.I. Joe team. Qualified expert all NATO and Warsaw Pact small arms, black belt in 12 different fighting systems, and highly skilled in the use of edged weapons. Here's a quote at the bottom. Snake Eyes was tempered on the anvil of life until he was as dangerous as a two razor edged sword flailing in the dark. The G.I. Joe team sleeved that sword and harnessed its deadly energy, but they they are they are wont to forget that even within the safety of its scabbard, the blade retains its cutting edge. As you can see in that quote, there is some uh, bad grooming skills. So let's take a look at his accessories. First, he comes with his figure stand, upraised Cobra logo, codename Snake Eyes on the front. He also comes with this little knife that goes into the sleeve on the side of his leg. As you can see, the silver paint is starting to rub off a little. He also comes with this katana blade, which surprisingly the silver is not wearing off because the knife is actually in the sleeve. And he also comes with his trademark Uzi. So let's take a look at this month's special feature. Since this is on animals, we'll take a look at Timber, which is this week's animal for the week. As you see, he's not really articulated and sculpted really nice for, I would say, a barnyard animal, if you want to call him that. Um, Nice little white fur, that mean old little snarly wolf face. It looks like he's about ready to bite your head off. So let's take a look now at Snake Eyes. He comes with his little classic um, black uniform. With this one is with his gray highlights and his famous gray visor. He's got the little splashes of silver like on his wrists, right there on his thigh. But predominantly black all over. Little green grenades. So let's take a look at this articulation. Head spins a full 360. Arm can lift about right there. Arm's got full range of motion, going 360 all the way around. Bends at the elbow. Let me get you so you see really good. There it is. And that swivels all the way around. And he also swivels at the wrist. He also does come with the ab crunch feature. Trying to get as good as I can with the camera, but I did do the best I could. T-hook at the legs, stretch out to about there. His they can lift up to there. Double knee joint at the knees. And his ankle can do the pivot and swivel. And so let's take a look at Snake Eyes all in battle gear with Timber right there at his side. And here we go. Here's Snake Eyes all geared up. And there's Timber right at his side. First time we see Snake Eyes in this uniform was in episode 1 of the Match Device, except for he was minus the gloves on his hand, and he was in part 1. And we see Timber make his appearance in part 3, where he and Snake Eyes had their first encounter in the at the ice the snowy part of the world where they was going to get the radioactive crystals where Timber was caught in a bear trap, and Snake Eyes set him free. And in the comic, Snake Eyes wore this uniform on the cover of 41, I believe, and I think it was 45. He made his first appearance in this uniform, which was like in '86, which was a shock because this figure, the vintage version of this figure, came out in '84. But but this is like a updated version of the version 2 of Snake Eyes, which I actually like this figure. My thoughts on Snake Eyes, which I think is like Snake Eyes is actually one of my favorite GI Joe characters in the entire run. From 1982 all the way up to current and present. Snake Eyes has always been up there as one of my favorites. I would rank this version of Snake Eyes as top tier because, of course, it's still as an updated version of his Uzi, and he actually has the blade with the wolf. And it talks a little bit about the ninja backstory, where he was part of the Arashikage clan with Storm Shadow, and it talks about their brief history a little bit. And I think this is like a top tier figure. I will rate this as a top tier figure and top shelf definitely. It's one of my favorites. And like y'all to tune in next week, where we will be reviewing the Cobra version side of Animals Month with Crocmaster with his crocodile. So that'll be this one will be another redo and the second redo of the month. We have to redo Crocmaster. It'll be 2 new figures that I recently acquired, a couple months back. So check out for Crocmaster next week and check out this video on Snake Eyes. And check out Mutt and Junkyard's video from last week. So I'll see y'all next week when we go over Crocmaster.